Hey, Riding Side Saddle. We're back.
Here we are.
That's right. It's Tammy.
And Lisa.
Yep. Season 6. Winding down. We've abandoned temporarily abandoned. Don't give me that look.
I'm already getting feisty. You see my hand up in the air?
I did. In the sideways look.
We're abandoning nothing.
We are temporarily putting a pin in.
We're changing the format.
Wild women who run with the wolves.
Yes.
It was just getting to be too much. That book is very, very heavy, and we just felt like it was, we needed a little break from it.
I needed a break.
I did too.
Right?
Yeah. It was getting to be a chore to read it, honestly, because it's so heavy.
Yes. And it takes a long time to let it resonate too.
Yep.
Like I said, I think I said in one of the previous episodes, I'm chewing on things from 2 and 3 chapters ago. And, things are just coming and surfacing around that. So when I'm reading ahead, it's been a challenge.
Yep.
I'm not ready emotionally to
move
yet.
forward.
Yeah.
Yep. So we're going to
switching it up.
Yep. We're going to go back to our regularly scheduled program, and it'll just be me and Lisa for a few episodes. We'll pick up. I think we left off in chapter 6.
Yeah.
So we'll start chapter 7 in season 7.
Right.
So
that's right.
Yeah.
Plus we got a lot of shit going.
We do.
Like, personal life, and we had to switch things up a little bit because of, the surprise fibroid situation. So,
that's coming up for you, isn't it?
It is. If there's nothing in life that is consistent, it's change.
That's it. The only thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, we had to pivot a little bit. It is coming up. It's coming up in about 2.5 weeks.
Yeah. So by the time this airs, it'll be like a week out. So
you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yep. So we thought we would just find, I don't know, some other heavy topic.
I was just going to say another deep concept to dig into.
Right. So it has occurred to me in the last, I started noticing it in the last week, and it was solidified today before we met, that I go into freeze. So there's when there's some sort of conflict, when your body senses danger, it's fight, flight, freeze, or fawn.
Correct.
Right? Those 4 F's. I go into freeze very quickly.
Feeling numb, spaced out, depressed, isolated, withdrawn, feeling immobilized, disassociation. Do you feel those things?
Yeah.
Does that resonate?
Yeah, especially the withdrawn.
Yeah.
If I am having conflict, I either go into freeze really quickly, or I go into fawn. Make it go away. Just be. It's okay. We don't get mad. We're okay.
What's interesting,
or I go into absolutely nothing comes out, and I am just, I'm completely withdrawn.
That's really interesting. So
sometimes
you've been identifying that
I
about
have
yourself.
been. Sometimes I get to fight real quick, and when I get to fight real quick, that is oftentimes because something's been bubbling. Something keeps happening, and I'm not addressing it. And now it's happened again, and that's it.
Now you've had enough.
Yep. Right.
The final straw.
And the other person might not even know that things have been bubbling because I fawn and I freeze, so I don't address it. And then all of a sudden, that's it. Now I'm mad. I'm real mad.
And there's some fighting words going to happen here.
Right.
I got some shit to say.
Yeah. Right. And the other person then is like, I don't know what's happening. I don't even know where this is coming from. That was a trigger, and you stepped in it.
Guess what?
Yeah.
Bomb went off.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
That's very
We're not fighting about that thing. We are fighting about what that thing means to me.
And I've had time to really contemplate and think about it.
Yes. And I've been noticing that keeps happening. Not the thing.
Right.
Not the trigger.
That's just the example
but the
of
feeling keeps happening.
Right.
I am seeing that I'm being mistreated in some way, or I believe I'm being mistreated in some way. And I've not addressed it. And now it's bubbled over by that one little thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I can get to fight, but I do a lot of fawning and a lot of freezing before I get there.
It has to build up in you a bit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I
don't do flight though.
Are you, while you're in freeze and fawn, maybe on the outside, are you analyzing on the inside? Do you
Mm-mm.
let it go in freeze?
Mm-mm.
You get depressed, you feel withdrawn, but you don't necessarily attribute as to why?
I think I'm stewing while I'm frozen. So I'm not disassociating. I am withdrawn. I am trying to make it go away with the fawn in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And then I take it back later, the next day, whatever, and I start analyzing it. And then I start realizing.
And then it starts to build your case for fight.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I think the next time, I'm just going to tuck that in my pocket. And the next time that person says something like that, they are really going to get it. Rather than just saying, when we were talking the other day and this came up, I was kind of feeling something.
Yeah.
I don't
didn't
do
have
that.
words for it at that time,
Right.
but I do now, so let's talk about this.
Right. Yeah, I don't do that. I wait for it to happen again, like I set a trap.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah. And I don't even realize I'm setting the trap. Like that just occurred to me when I just said that out loud.
Mm-hmm. But
yeah,
maybe you don't realize that it's a trap, but you do.
No, as I'm talking about it, I realize I'm setting a trap for somebody.
Right. But perhaps in the moment, you're like, you know what, this is happening regularly and it's going to happen again. And when it happens again, I'm going to say something. Is that a truth?
It is.
Yeah.
Yes, that is
but you
ultimately
don't
what
necessarily
happens.
I don't consider it as a trap.
No.
You just wait. You're going to get your foot in that snare and man, you're going to get it.
No, I don't do it and think of it as a trap in the moment.
Yeah.
When I just said it out loud, ultimately that is a trap.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? I'm just going to tuck this away until it happens again. Rather than just saying,
I didn't
when
love
we
that.
were talking, I kind of have some things to say about that.
Yeah, it's taken me a little bit, but
Right.
we need to we need to revisit
I need to address that.
Mhm.
Right. Like that would be an emotionally healthy thing to do, right? That feels more nurturing than waiting and then springing, I got you now.
Right.
Right? Like,
Right.
oh, you really did it?
Well,
And I've been mad for weeks because this has been happening for weeks and I've not said anything, but now you're going to get all of it.
it's like a tsunami.
Yes. Yes.
It's like the after impact.
The aftershock.
and it's gonna get ya.
And the shock.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Something else triggered, and now the
Yes.
full.
All of it is coming out.
Yes.
I have been feeling like this for a long time. And now that one thing really set me off. I've never said anything to you before about it, but now I am.
And you're
And
gonna
you're going to
get
get it. Right. And don't you be mad at me because I'm mad at you.
Right. Because finally I'm saying it,
Right.
and damn well I deserve it
right.
to say
Right.
something.
Right. But that
Because
is,
you're an asshole.
But-
and have been.
but I've not told you that what you've said or done has bothered me. So you keep doing it.
I'm just teasing.
I know you are, but this has come up recently, multiple times.
and
It is eclipse season after all.
and the reason I can put words into your mouth
Uh-huh.
is maybe because I've lived that experience.
That. So you want to know what actually happened when I started to, like, this is when I was realizing, oh, this is what I always do. So, we've got this cottage.
Yeah. Ooh.
This
Cottage.
is not Josh. It's not about Josh. Believe it or not, this is not about Josh.
Is this like the Garden of Demise for you?
I think it might be.
Ooh, it's your Garden of Demise.
It might be. It is. Yeah. it is, wow. A lot of growth, personal growth is
Yes.
happening while we're working on this project,
Right.
for sure. So it was a Sunday. Josh had already gone home early because you know how he does, right? He's got to get up and get the hell out.
Hop to it.
Absolutely. And I
Gotta beat
came
the
up,
roosters.
That's it. So I drove separately. I'd come up the night before him to get a head start on painting and stuff. And so I didn't have to leave at the crack of dawn when he did. I said, you know what? I'm not quite finished painting the bathroom, and I really want to be done with that before I leave for the weekend. So you go. I'll just meet you at home when I get there.
Mm-hmm.
So
Seems like a great compromise.
it was.
Yeah.
I had a little bit of quiet time to myself. After he left, I enjoyed a cup of coffee. I did a little reading, and then I could finish the painting
Yeah.
and clean up and pack my stuff and be on my way
Right.
at my own pace.
Right.
The turtle pace that I need.
That you like.
Yes, right. Without Josh's anxious energy, we got to go, we got to go, we got to go. So that worked out great. I've just finished. I'm still in my painting clothes. So I'm going to set the stage, right? So the day before, I had put my hair up on top of my head, piled it in like a messy bun on top of my head. I slept with it that way. I got up and I didn't do anything with my hair because I'm just painting.
Right.
Put on my painting clothes.
Right.
My hair's sticking out all over, like, you know, the little hairs that, the frizzies that happen because
From your
when
pillow?
you got curly hair.
Sure.
Yeah. So I didn't do anything with it because I'm just going to be painting. I've got no makeup on. I did brush my teeth. I've got my painting clothes on, which are an old pair of workout pants and an old ratty t-shirt that literally has holes in it.
Yeah.
I did not have a bra on. Okay. Set the stage.
Full blown.
That.
All el natural.
Oh, yeah. This is not a look. I don't even know if my husband has ever seen me look this bad. I am here by myself looking this terrible.
Right.
And I've been painting. So I probably have paint in my hair. I definitely have paint all over my fingers.
Uh-huh.
And I'm sweaty because that's how I roll, right?
Work.
It's hard work. And So I am expecting nobody to come over.
This is your sacred space.
That's it.
Right.
I am going to now change my clothes so I can drive home.
Right.
And I would like fix my hair so, you know, I look presentable enough behind sunglasses to drive home.
Fair enough.
Right. All of a sudden there's a knock on the door. Oh, crap. And we have windows in the door so you can see in.
Sure. So there's no hiding.
There's no
escape.
I am standing in the kitchen.
Right.
And there's a knock on the back door.
And you
I
can
am
see two
looking at
beady
somebody.
pupils
Yeah.
peering through the window.
Great. I can't even pretend like I'm in the shower.
Right.
Or
right.
turn the
Ignore
music
it
up and just didn't.
entirely.
Yeah, right. So I open the door and there's an older gentleman there. Since this happened, I've learned he's in his early 90s.
Oh.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he's a neighbor. And I'm immediately embarrassed because I've never met this person.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to see me again, right? We're neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
No bra, no makeup,
Right.
no, I don't care if he's old and can't really see. I know what I look like.
Right.
This is not
Right. Presentable
something, no.
to the public.
And while I may be extra fluffy, I still do care about how I look.
Sure.
Right?
Certainly.
How I present myself
Right.
to people. So I'm immediately in freeze and fawn all at the same time. I don't want you to come in, but I have to ask you to come in because that's polite and that's part of fawn. And I'm trying to mask the fact that I'm standing here completely unpresentable.
Yeah.
But I can't really mask it. So now I'm just going to outwardly say it, right? Like, I am not really sorry. I'm not
Right.
really dressed. I
Right.
was painting
Not
and
prepared
I'm
for
not, that's what I
company.
said. I wasn't really prepared to have anybody over. I'm sorry I look a fright.
What
Like,
the fuck do you want?
Right. So then he hands me a loaf of frozen zucchini bread. And as he does that, I'm thinking he is buttering me up for something. This is
boy.
not going to be good. This is not a welcome to the neighborhood conversation.
No.
I can feel it.
He dug to the bottom of the freezer for that fucker. I better bring something. A
Right?
peace offering.
I don't know what his wife's name is, but she may have said, "Here, Bill, take this. It'll go better if you give her a snack."
Ooh.
Yeah, she probably saw me walking around. That girl looks like she likes snacks. I saw her. She definitely likes snacks.
Stop.
Sweets.
Seriously.
That's the ticket to her heart. Here, honey, give her a sweet. Give her some sugar, she'll be nice to you then.
No.
Yeah, probably that's what happened. So he starts telling me about,
He could have done something better than frozen zucchini bread then. Really?
From what I hear, I have not eaten the bread, but from what I hear, his wife's bakery is like to die for. Anyway, so we live on, it's a private road. Our driveway is on this private road. We are the very first house on this private road. Our front door faces a public road. So it's like we're just on this corner. Right. And we have just a little bit of ownership, I'll say in air quotes, of this road, right? There's, as Bill told me, there are 9 houses that use this road, including ours. And there are some potholes on this driveway road. And they decided, I don't know who they is. I don't have really any details other than what Bill told me. But the project that they have decided to do is a $27,000 rip it all out and repave the road.
You better come back with a whole dozen zucchini breads.
Right? One's not going to cut it.
Hop to it. They better be piping hot.
Right. And I can do math, and I know that 9 goes into 27 three times.
Right.
So I've got a $3,000 bill.
Right.
Standing in my kitchen right now.
Right.
And his name is Bill. And
right.
he's handed me a $3,000 bill. And all I can think of, Josh is going to flip his lid. He is going to be so mad. I have to go home and tell him this guy wants $3,000 from us.
Yeah.
I've never even met this cat before, and he's asking me for a big fat check.
Right.
We've got all of our money tied up into this project. We have other really giant bills that we've already committed to fixing a lot of really big things. This was a fixer-upper. This was not a move in, bring your toothbrush kind of place.
You knew you would have to invest.
Yes, for sure. And we had planned for that.
Right.
We did not plan for fixing the dang road. There's nothing wrong with our stretch of the road. It's further down that it's broken.
Right.
So now, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, we can't say no because then we look like a bunch of a-holes. And if everyone else is already signed off and they're just waiting for us to give the okay, I just got notice of this. I haven't even seen a goddamn estimate.
Right.
How do I know that this is actually happening?
Right.
You can't just show up at someone's house with zucchini bread and say, give me $3,000. And to be completely fair, he didn't say it like that.
Right.
He said, just think about it. And I immediately went to, my husband's not here. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. I have to talk to my husband. We're really, financially tied up. We've got projects. And he said, yeah, we've all got projects.
Mm.
Oh, you want to play that game, do you? Freeze. And Fawn. Just get the hell out of my house.
Right.
I don't even know what to do now.
Right.
That experience is when I realized because after he left, I should have asked this and I should have asked that. And I had half a dozen questions just like that as I watch him walking down the street. Because I was frozen and fawning, none of that came to me. So I couldn't get enough information for us to even actually make an informed decision about whether or not we're going to pitch in, And then I started paying attention to when I had conflict, even if it wasn't big conflict, even if it wasn't bad news, just even a little conflict. I started paying attention.
You go to.
Oh, I'm doing it again. Oh, I'm doing it again. Oh, now I'm doing that.
Mm-hmm. That's really interesting. I don't know that I have categorized it into the 4 F's, but I also have been doing some observation of myself, not in the same way, but I have been deliberately pausing and observing my physical reactions when I find myself upset. Like what happens physiologically in my body. I feel like we might be doing very similar things, not realizing that we're doing them, because that observation aspect is really important to be able to identify your go-to, right? Your MO, your how you approach, what your typical response is. And it's the first thing to be able to modify your actions in the future.
Absolutely. Right. Right. So when I recently had a conversation with Josh where I could feel myself starting to go into freeze, I had to fight myself to stay in the moment. Don't withdraw. This doesn't have to be a fight, but don't withdraw.
So what did you do differently?
I noticed in myself, I'm starting to withdraw. He's saying something I don't like. I'm starting to withdraw. And I had to come back, almost like come back into myself, into that moment. It's not really disassociating.
I was just going to say that.
It's not all that way. I think I'm a click before the actual dissociating happens.
Feeling numb, spaced out, that type of thing.
And just withdrawing. Almost like putting a big shield up. You're saying something I don't like. Up goes the shield. You can't touch me if my shield's up. I don't have to respond if my shield's up. But this is an important conversation. Me withdrawing is not...
It's not going to help.
That's not helping.
Right.
Right. Participate in the conversation. Be here, be present, and participate in the conversation. That's how I got myself back into it. By recognizing that I was leaving. Be present. Yeah. This is important. Be present.
Interesting. For all of the things that you and I are similar on.
I don't think we are similar with this.
This is not one of them. So two things. I think that it depends. It depends as to who and what type of environment will dictate how I, and when I say react, I think that these are all for reactions as opposed to responses.
For sure.
Right?
Absolutely.
My reaction, depending on who it is and what it's about, can be fight, where it's more aggressive, and like my physical reaction comes forward in like my back gets really hot. It gets really prickly, and I can feel it getting red and burning. Like the reaction is much more aggressive than really what you're talking about. I know that my eyes bug out of my head because my children have told me that when I'm really mad, my eyes bug out, and that's
that's their signal. Oh boy, I really stepped in it now.
She's pissed.
Yeah.
And that again is like this fight. I'm making myself bigger than I am to make sure that you understand that you have stepped over the line. And I know I do that, which is in part why I'm paying attention to those physical symptoms before I actually get there, so that I can understand it and cut it short, right? Cut it off before I get to the reaction versus the response. However, for instance, I was just realizing as you were talking that I do a bit of what you're talking about as well. I think I more go to fawn. And interestingly, most of my conflicts are with my husband. I mean, we're together.
Sure.
So,
right.
By nature, I
Those
think that
closest
happens.
to you generally are where the conflict comes in.
Most
right?
definitely.
Yeah.
Most opportunity for growth.
Sure.
And I do the fight piece. 100% I do. However, when I don't know what's going on, if we maybe aren't in an entire conflict that I fully understand where things are, and like I'm not angry about something, I am immediately like, I know there's something wrong, and I start fawning. Hey babe, what's going on?
You okay?
Yeah. Like making sure that everything is in order and being extra kind, like trying to feel it out. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I feel something's wrong.
Sure.
Like I'll do that. I'll go into Fawn for that until I'm like, listen, something is really going on here, and I'm tired of trying to figure out what it is.
Tell me or knock it off.
Yes. So then I might shift. But at first I'm like, oh my God, there's something not right. I have to make it feel better.
Yeah.
That's
interesting. I did notice Josh doing that the other day.
With you?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Hey, babe.
Is
everything all right?
I started in a really passive aggressive
You
way.
want an egg sandwich?
It was very much like
I'll
that.
fill your coffee.
You want to go out for dinner? Yeah.
Yeah.
I had started it was in a text message. And I wasn't really passive aggressive. I felt like it was aggressive. He knew I was upset.
Yeah.
But he didn't know how upset I was until I got home. So he was doing the fawning. Just exactly what you're saying.
Yep.
Let me just see how bad is it? Right?
Gotta make this
how
okay.
mad is she? Right.
She might like to go out to eat.
Because I don't really understand why she's mad at all. So maybe I misunderstood.
Yeah.
Right. Because it was one of those things where I had tucked it away for later. And then later came. And it came during a text exchange. He had no idea he had stepped in it. Because I'd set a trap.
Right.
Not intentionally.
Right.
But by I'll just hold this. And then when you do it again.
Right. Then I'll take advantage of the situation so that I can address it. So
Right.
it doesn't really feel like a trap per se.
It doesn't.
But it is coming out of left field
upon
to a recipient. Yeah, to a
I
recipient.
can see how it is a trap.
Yep.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. So then when he was done with the fawning, because he realized how upset I was, then he went into fight. Okay, you want to fight? We can fight. Because I'm mad about this and I can't believe that. And then it gets really big until we start pulling out what we're really fighting about. And then we can have a conversation and work some things out. And during that, I was finding myself freezing a lot.
Well,
like staring out the window. I'm not looking at you. I'm barely even listening to you because none of your points are valid anyway. I'm the one who's mad here. You don't get to be mad. Like that's what's happening in my head.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that dynamic, like the sorry, my words are escaping me. The fight or flight component, they go hand in hand, right?
Yeah.
When one person is big,
Yep.
And aggressive,
Sure.
then the other person responds in the absolute opposite direction.
Right.
They're both like not effective
No.
at all.
No.
But they do go hand in hand. They're
Right.
like two players, yin and yang, that equally match one another. It's I don't know if I can think of any couple that is both very aggressive.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like there's usually a big partner, and then there's in a conflict, and then there's a partner who's not,
Mm-hmm.
who's more subdued, or yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a dynamic play that is very interesting. It's like that aspect of opposites attract.
Maybe so. Well, and I don't know.
But that's associated with growth.
It
right?
is.
Like it's a puzzle piece that fits together. It doesn't
sure.
mean that it's good and effective, but they do fit together.
Right. I also think when you're in that situation, at least my experiences, if we are both really big because we're both really angry, it's both fight and fight, right? But generally it goes to one person gets a little more fawny and then one person is still in fight. And then that role shifts. The person who was in fawn goes back into fight, and then the person in fight goes into fawn. And like it's not ever a we're in fight and you just stay there, right? Like that's my go-to, and I stay there, and I never experience fawn or freeze or anything else. You know what I mean? Like
I do.
It's like a dance
those,
almost, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You navigate through each of the reactions.
Right.
But you're always usually counterbalancing the other
Exactly.
response.
Right.
I don't disagree with that.
Oh, yeah. And hopefully it comes, out of fight, and you get back down to, at the same time, productive conversation.
Yeah.
Where you can work some things out and talk things through.
I feel like
have some resolution if you're fortunate.
Yeah,
right?
I agree with you. There was a shift for Scott and I don't know, it's probably, I mean, we're coming up on 10 years this week, in fact.
Happy anniversary.
Thanks. It's been hard fought.
10 years is a long time. I
It
don't
really
care.
is a long time.
I don't care if it's hard fought or not. That is a congratulations right there.
Right?
Yeah.
It is a damn accomplishment.
Yeah.
I say to him, I literally said to him, that is, again, every year I say this, that is a fucking long time.
Yeah.
Like that is a long ass time.
That's a long time.
I do say it every year, but this year I really mean it. Damn. That is a long ass time. 10 years.
It is.
Anyway, probably about 2 or 3 years ago, I feel like Scott and I went through a
I've never even owned a
dynamic
car for
shift.
10 years.
They don't even last that long.
Sorry.
They're not made to last that long. I think
So you went through a shift.
we did. We went through a bit of a dynamic shift, and it was deliberate. I'm not saying that we don't have conflict, because we do. Every relationship has
does.
conflict.
Sure.
And you learn things and you navigate through them,
For sure.
At different levels for the rest of your life.
Absolutely.
But I think that a couple of years ago we went through a shift where we were going through this like battling, and I realized in that moment that oftentimes when I'm in that place, I just need to recognize that I've been triggered, and I need to step away, and I need to think about it. But I can't do that until I say, listen, I need a hot minute. We are not done with this. I'm triggered, and I have to weed through it. I have to figure out, I don't know why I'm so
upset.
Yes. I don't know why I'm feeling this way, but I really, really am. And it's really, really strong. So I need to step away. And he looked at me and he just said, okay. Like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, what else can you say to that?
I didn't expect this, and I don't really know what to do with it except for say okay. And we did that for a period of time, right? Whenever we were in this place of reaction, and again, I will say again, it's not like we never react, because we absolutely do. But I think we both realized, and he even said to me, when you say you need a minute, he said, I needed that minute too.
Oh.
And I didn't realize it.
Wow.
So we are able then to come back and say, listen, what I heard was this. It triggered me in this way. It may or may not have something to do with you at all.
Right.
Right. I may be reacting to something else from my history, my, upbringing,
Even
whatever.
Being a child. Yeah,
right.
for sure.
Right. And you happened to stumble upon that.
Yeah.
Now that I can like clear myself a little bit to navigate through this, let's have a conversation. I am upset about blah, blah, blah. I am not upset about blah, blah, blah. I agree with you here. I disagree with you here. Let's talk about that.
Right.
Right. And you can
when
come
you
back
can
in.
actually talk.
Right.
Right.
It honestly, it changed our relationship dramatically. And again, I am not saying that we don't have conflict, because we do.
I don't think conflict is actually a bad thing, because if you never have conflict, that means someone is swallowing
That's right.
a lot of crap.
I agree with that. Right. Because that's just what relationships are.
Absolutely.
I do find it interesting. you and I, though, we have a very close relationship.
do.
Right? It's not a marriage relationship,
No, we don't
obviously,
live together.
but
Yeah.
we do have a relationship that we interact regularly,
Yeah.
often,
Yep.
every day.
Yep.
And on occasion, we will come to a place where we disagree about something.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking to myself as you were talking earlier that when we do, it will come to, well, it looks like we disagree about this.
Yeah.
And I'll say, I guess we disagree. And you say, yes, I guess we do. So it isn't, for whatever reason,
It doesn't get to a fight, flight, freeze,
doesn't.
fawn sort of thing. We can just agree. I mean, we can just agree to disagree.
And I don't really
And leave it at
understand
that.
that. I think I have to analyze that a little bit.
Interesting. I guess I didn't think of it that way.
We literally just did it like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
With Mary.
Yeah. And she's
Poor
like,
Mary.
oh, fuck.
Oh,
What
poor
did I
Mary.
just step
I
into?
know.
She's like, let me fix this.
We just need 2 more minutes. We'll get it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
We're not arguing. We've got it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We're just acknowledging the fact that we disagree.
We have a difference.
Right.
Right.
And that's okay.
Right.
So our relationship is exempt, apparently, which is A-okay.
Yeah. I don't, maybe it's because we're both women and we have very similar communication styles. Maybe. I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
We'll
It's
see.
not that we've never disagreed.
No.
It just has not turned into an argument.
No, it hasn't.
Right.
Thankfully.
Yeah,
And we're
absolutely.
we're coming up on 10 years too
of regular,
of being very, very
nearly
close.
everyday communication.
I mean,
if not every
lifetime
day.
as a cousin, but
For sure.
very close for the last 10 years.
Absolutely. Yeah. Right.
It was right after I got married.
Yeah, you're right. It
Yeah,
was right
it
after.
was like
I was gonna
Easter.
say
Remember,
maybe a
I
little
brought you-
before, but it was
I brought
right
you
after.
Easter candy.
That's right.
We had wine and Easter candy
That's right. That's right. And we had been having dinner
periodically.
semi-regularly,
Yes.
but not like every week or
No,
every month.
no.
It was more like once or twice a year.
Yes, it
we
was.
would switch off.
It was.
So and we were cousins. So we had a relationship. It just was not
It
where
wasn't
we
like
were in
this.
touch every day.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, so that's good. It's
Yeah.
fine. We still have conflict. We just handle it different
We
with each
do.
other.
We do. We talk. We continue to talk.
Right.
It doesn't become a reaction. I think we are deliberate about responses as opposed to reactions.
I think that is very true. Yeah. I'm going to have to think about why that is. Why do we respond instead of react with each other? But I don't do that with everyone.
Agree. Me either.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'll have to sit with that.
Yeah. I have some ideas, but I'm not ready to put words to them yet.
That's fair.
So anyway, that was just a recent observation that I had about what happens to me when there's danger. Conflict is here. And
Feeling unsafe.
yeah, absolutely. I'm going to continue to observe that, and I'm going to also try not to set traps
Yeah.
because I feel like that's not fair.
I agree. And I have to admit that I probably do some of that too. Like, you know what? This isn't worth it in this moment.
Right.
But I know that this is going to happen again, and I'm going to be prepared for it.
Right. And
Right.
I may do it's not worth it in this moment more than once.
Right.
And then I just keep tucking it in, just tuck it away, tuck it away, tuck it away. And then one day that's it. He's done this again. I am for sure tucking it away. And the next time,
Right.
when again, it's just been building all this time.
Right.
And then something out of left field happens in like, for instance, with Josh, in his perspective, I don't even know, where did this even come from?
Yeah. Yeah.
You asked this, I said this, and now you're mad? How can you be mad about that?
I have thoughts, and I too cannot communicate them in this moment.
Yeah.
I have lots
I
of
don't,
thoughts.
and I don't know. I do suspect some of that is the difference between men and women. in the last argument I had with Josh, I did say, you know what, it's really not fair for me to expect you to think the way I think.
Mm-hmm.
It really was one of those, what was the name of that book? Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. It was that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Where he was like, why you said that? Why would I interpret what that sentence? Let me read it to you again. Why would I interpret that to be this?
You're like, duh.
That. I said, how could you not? How could you not interpret that to mean that?
And
it's so obvious what I was saying.
And the word is interpret,
That.
right? Because there
That.
shouldn't have to be an interpretation.
Exactly.
I shouldn't have to figure out what you mean. Just say what you mean.
And I thought I had.
I see.
He didn't catch it at all.
I see.
And when the trap I had set was, I wasn't feeling like he was being careful with my feelings
Mm-hmm.
in other instances. And rather than saying that, I waited for him to really not demonstrate he was being careful.
Mm-hmm.
Or to
So-
really demonstrate
so
he was
that
not
you
being
could
careful.
show
so
him
I could
in
be
the
like,
moment.
see?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not even show him, show me.
Uh,
See, he's not being careful with your feelings. Let him have it. That's not fair.
right.
I don't know why that kind of dynamic comes up with, in particular, in a marital situation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to set people up in my life to fail, but I am absolutely setting my husband up to fail.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some learned behavior in there. For sure there is. And I don't do it a lot. I feel like I really am generally pretty good about saying, so when you just said that, is this what you meant? Because
This is how
that
I
sucked.
felt. Right. Right.
Right. And then and to be fair, like he'll get mad because he feels like I have set a trap for him,
Mm-hmm.
which is exactly what I did.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Right. Why are you mad at me? I didn't mean it.
Right. I didn't mean it in that way.
Right.
Right.
Well, you still did it.
I know. Scott and I do that too. Yeah, I used those words, but this is what I meant when I used those
Didn't
words.
say what you meant.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
Well, those words don't mean the same thing to me as what you just said
Mhm.
that they meant to you.
Right.
Right? It's
Right.
like it feels like it's splitting hairs, but it's true. Like this comes up for me a whole ton.
Mm.
And it is more about how I interpret your words, and
Versus
it isn't
what you
necessary.
said.
No,
Or what you actually meant to say.
correct.
Mhm.
My interpretation of those words, the intention behind it is something different than what his intention behind those words truly is.
Right.
So it
And
goes
that's what-
into this realm of
Yes.
like, that was shitty. Well, I didn't mean it shitty. Yes, I said those things, but it wasn't, the intention behind it wasn't shitty. And you're like taking it out of context.
And now I'm upset because you think I'm intentionally being shitty.
Yes. That.
Why would you think I'd be shitty to you?
That.
I love you. I'm not trying to be mean and hurtful and shitty.
Right. But that's
Right.
that's how it was. That's how it laid out in my head.
Right. But you should know that I'm not trying to be
Well-
that. Well, how am I supposed to know?
Right.
This is what happened.
It's a whole fucking
It is, right?
nest of
Communication is
crap.
an art. It's a nest of crap.
it is.
Communication is a nest of crap. That might be the title of this episode.
Okay. I like that. So eloquently stated. We should leave it at that.
I think we should.
Okay.
There's no coming back from that. There's no topping that. That's the end.
The nest of crap.
Communication, the nest of crap. All right, then.
Okay.
So, Mind Garden Media, we need to say thank you to them as always. Todd does a fabulous job of editing our podcast and making it in a format that we can easily just pick up and disperse.
And not a
So
nest of crap.
it's not. I mean, it might be from his perspective.
Right. I mean, he fixes it up pretty good, though.
He does. He takes our nest of crap and fixes it and gives it back to us in a way that we can actually
Correct.
publish it. So
Correct.
thank you for that. If you're thinking about a podcast, if you just want to talk about some ideas you have in that regard, please reach out to Mind Garden Media there on Facebook. That's probably the fastest, easiest way to find them.
Absolutely.
And then thank you to our listeners.
Always. We always are thrilled and excited as we look at the statistics and see the different areas that we're in. We thank you for listening. We thank you for sharing it with your friends. It's spreading, that nest of
Absolutely.
crap.
It is.
It's spreading.
It is.
We continue.
Right.
I couldn't be
Yeah,
more thrilled.
our hard work
Yeah.
is it is
So thank you.
for sure.
All right.
All right, till next time
Bye.
then. Toodaloo.